This is True North Story, the original podcast series. Learn, love, listen, live. Are you ready to discover your True North Story? With your hosts, Tama Fulton and John Hudson Messerall.
Hi, it's Tama Fulton. Today's True North Story is with Monika Korra. Monika is a beautiful young woman from Norway. She came to the United States on a full track scholarship to SMU in Dallas, Texas. She became the victim of a violent sexual assault in 2009. We just wanted to let you know the topic of today's True North Story before you heard it. Monika is a very positive person, and she has overcome in an amazing way. So we want to share her True North Story.
What Tam and I are trying to do with True North Story is find individuals who have really amazing stories to share that are really built around four things, and that is inspiration, encouragement, motivation, and hope. And I know that hope is a big part of the book Kill the Silence that you've written and, you know, kind of your journey going forward. And so we will help with promoting the video from ESPN and Outside the Lines. That is just an amazing visual story. I highly recommend people go out on the internet, and we'll provide a link to it or whatever to just see, to learn more about you and your journey. It is just heartbreaking, but yet at the same time, it offers hope. And so we want to focus a little bit about telling us a little bit about your background and growing up in Norway and running and what a big part of your life that is, and just share a little bit about that with us.
A little girl growing up in Norway. When did you start running, Monika, and when did that become a big part of who you are?
So that's right. I grew up in Norway with my parents and my older sister. So my sister, she's 3 years older than me, and I always followed in her footsteps. So when I was born, she was already skiing and started running. She was 3.5 at that time, and I just wanted to be just like her growing up. So. And in Norway, we have this saying, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but in Norway, we're born with skis on our feet. And that's really not far from the truth. As soon as we can set up straight, we're really placed on the top of a pair of skis, and we're just expected to fly across the field. So as soon as I could walk, when I was 2 years old, I started skiing. And my sister, she was already competing at that time. So this is a fun story. My parents always remind me of this. When I was 2.5, about to turn 3. My sister, she was entering this race, and I got to go along, but I wasn't allowed to compete yet because you weren't allowed to compete at that young of an age. But I was just standing there screaming and crying at the starting line. So at the end, they decided to give me a start number that was able to compete as well. So I did that before I was 3 years old, and ever since I've been competing and skiing and running and all kinds of sports.
So you had a competitive spirit in you from the very beginning.
Yeah, obviously I did. But that's the thing. I absolutely loved it. From I was 3 years old, and that's just the person I've been my whole entire life. I just love that, to set goals and to work for them and to be able to challenge myself. It's who I am, and I really had a good childhood being allowed to do that and to have parents, a family that just 100% supported me in it every day, took me to competitions and supported me through every practice. So I've been really lucky to be able to grow up that way.
Yeah, what led you to being discovered by a guy from SMU in the States?
So that was my senior year of high school. I was lucky. I got to represent Norway in some international competitions that year. So I actually got to compete in the Junior World Championships and European Championships. Because of that, this coach in Dallas, SMU, he was just looking at results online. He saw my name, he read more about me, and suddenly one day he called me up and wanted to offer me a scholarship. So when that first happened, I didn't even believe in him. I was like, is this some kind of joke? I don't know. Is this for real? It took me a while to realize that it was actually an offer. But as soon as I realized that, I just said, of course I'm going to do this. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me.
Had you ever been to the United States before that?
No, I hadn't. I had never been to the States, so I had no idea what to expect. But I have to say, in the beginning, it was challenging to me because I was just following my dream. So when I decided to come over, I was like, oh, I'm going there to run, to become a professional runner, and that was all that came to mind. I didn't think about the challenge of the language. I didn't speak much English at the time, and the fact that my family and friends would be that far away, that I didn't know anyone in Dallas. But I decided to do it, and I'm glad I did.
Did your parents come with you when you made the trip over to the States, or did you come all by yourself?
Yeah, no, I came by myself. I did.
For our listeners who would be thinking about going abroad or, going to another country across the pond or other places, that's a huge commitment. That's and that's a commitment to your belief in yourself and your dream of running and becoming a professional runner. Did you ever have any second doubts, hindsight being 20/20, or you looking back now knowing what you didn't know when you first came here? Did you have any doubts, or you felt like that was all part of your life story?
Yeah, oh my gosh, no, not at all. No doubt. I don't regret it a second that I came to Dallas. It was truly a dream that came true, and all the things that I got to experience, the people that I got to know, all the things that I learned about myself through that journey, it's been amazing. And as with running and competing my whole entire life, I've liked to challenge myself and to set goals, and I had to do that in different ways when I came to the States. It was more challenges than only like the next competition to focus on. There was language and to earn good grades with the challenge of a language, and just I got to know myself in a whole new way, I think, and I think it just made me grow, because even though at times I felt like this is too much, I'm not sure I can do this, I just proved to myself that I can. So it made me a stronger person, for sure.
You obviously were a very strong girl to begin with, so just admire your parents for being willing to send you over to school. That's amazing.
Well, I think that's part of it. I think my parents, they have always been encouraging myself and my sister to just follow our dreams and to challenge ourselves. And they have never, ever held us back in any way. They always tell us just go out there, get experience, and okay, sometimes we will get hurt, but we learn from it, we grow from it, and they always believe in that we just have to do whatever we can to grow and to not ever hold ourselves or anyone around us back.
And for those who don't know your story, they can learn more in the video, and you are a survivor of sexual assault, and that happened while you were in Dallas. And so tell us a little bit on the backside of that. Obviously, it's a horrific tragedy. Someone who is putting out a positive message of recovery and hope going forward. Share with us a little bit of the backside of that journey and what that looked like, and then leading to you writing the book, Kill the Silence, to tell your story on the page.
Absolutely. I will share first what happened. This was my sophomore year of college. So I had been here for 1.5 years, and I really started to enjoy my life. I felt like now I fit in. I had adjusted to a new way of life, and I had a lot of good friends around me. I had a boyfriend here in Dallas, and I was living the dream that I was looking forward to. And but one night in December of 2009, myself and two of my girlfriends, my two roommates, we decided to take a little study break. We had been invited to off-campus athlete party. We decided to go there. One of our friends took us there. He drove us, dropped us off, and told us that he would be back a few hours later. So we had a great time with students from SMU, athletes. But then that night when our friend came to pick us up, we saw he was parked right outside the apartment. So we went out, but I never came as far along as into his car that night. That night I was kidnapped at gunpoint. I was dragged into a van, and I was gang raped by 3 men. And, well, that came to be a turning point in my life. But the things that I think back upon now is just how that night I just kept begging for my life. All I told them was just, please let me go. I want to live. I want to survive. And I don't know why, but after a few hours, they let me go. And I was found by the police, and I was brought to safety. And that's just, instead of focusing on what happened, in the moment in the police car, that same night, I just felt grateful to still be alive, because what were the chances that I would survive something like this? So I just felt from that first day that I survived it for a reason, And I just feel like I've been given a mission in life, and that is to share my story and to just give other people hope and show people that it's possible to get back up and live a normal life even though we go through challenging times.
This is True North Story, the original podcast series. And now, back to the program.
Did you decide that, Monika, pretty much that night, that I'm going to survive this and I'm going to thrive and I'm going to have an opportunity to share this with people? Was that within a day or two that you decided that?
It was, and I remember that moment like it was yesterday, because that was in the moment when I was in the police car on my way home from the hospital. I just had that feeling like I am so grateful to still be alive, and I just felt like there is a reason why I survived this. I'm supposed to turn it into something positive. I'm supposed to find back to a normal life. And it was that moment that I just made the decision that, okay, I don't know what to expect from my life after this. I don't know how long the journey of healing will be, but I just decided that I am willing to do whatever it takes, and I will fight until I find back to a normal life.
Did you go back to school? Did you continue to finish that school year, Monika?
I did. So this happened in December, so it was right before our Christmas break. So I was able to go home to Norway and see my family this was less than 2 weeks after it happened. I was able to go home and spend almost a whole month with my family at home. But after that, I returned straight back to Dallas to continue my studies, to continue to run, be on a team. So it was challenging to come back, and I was scared that I wouldn't be strong enough to do that. But I knew with myself that I have to do that. I cannot let this control my life. I won't let them steal a life that I just loved. I wouldn't let that happen. So that was important to me, to just take the control back. And even though it made me nervous, I was willing to do it. And again, I proved to myself that, you know what, we have so much inside of us. We're so much stronger than what we think at times. So sometimes we just have to trust that things will be okay if we just are willing to put in the work that it takes to find back the good life.
In the strength that you just referenced of coming back, I mean, that had to be hard. You're leaving your family again after a traumatic experience, your sister and your parents. You're going to come back. You want to finish school. And you mentioned having the strength to get through that. Where does that strength come from? Is it a faith? Is it a belief in yourself? Where did that strength to go, I'm going to go right back and I'm going to finish what I started, and I'm not going to allow this to define who I am?
You know, I think it's a combination. For me, it's a combination of faith and the experience that I have looking back on my own life, that I've been through challenging stuff before, that I know that I've been able to fight through, even though I didn't maybe believe in it from the beginning of, but also faith for sure. And that, I have to say, my faith just grew stronger from this, because I felt in the van that night, I felt the presence. I felt that there was someone there that just guided me through it, and that just told me to hold on, and that told me that you're going to survive this. And that was something that I listened to that night, that I trusted. And I've been thinking back on that moment a lot of times, and that have given me strength, because I know that sometimes, you know what, we just have to trust and believe that someone is there watching over us.
Powerful. Let's fast forward a little bit. So you finish at school, and now you have a story that, you know, on top of a story. What led to the book and to writing Kill the Silence, and what is some of the takeaways of those people who will buy and read the book that they can maybe apply in their own life?
So the writing process for me, first, it just started as my own way of healing, and to deal with this, to just put all of my thoughts and emotions down on a piece of paper to better understand and to be able to respond to what I had been through. So I started my writing process 2 days after it all happened. That helped me to just put it down into writing, and to be able to, at night when I was thinking and I was able to fall asleep, I started writing. And how I felt, okay, I was just able to empty my head, put it down on a piece of paper, and I could just close that book and put it away. That made it so much easier for me. And I realized that. So that's something that I continue with every day after I wrote something. And suddenly one day I looked back upon my notes, and I had like 300-400 pages of notes. And I realized, you know what, there must be something in this that can help other people. So that's when I started to think about turning this into a book. And I'm so glad I did. It was years of work, writing, rewriting. But I was able to do it, and
Right.
it got published in August last year. And I think the most important message in my book is just that it's possible to get back up and find back to a normal, good life. And I just want to tell people that no matter what we go through, we're not all the same. So I don't think people can heal in the exact same way as I did. But I think there's something in there, something in my message of hope that it's possible to get back up. For me, it's been important to find a way to let go of this. Forgiveness has been really important to me. And maybe what's been most important of it all is to be able to be open and to talk about the struggles that we face in life. Because to me, in the beginning, I felt like I just wanted to fight through this alone. I thought that I was strong enough to do this by myself. But one day I realized, you know what, I'm not. We're so much stronger if we're together, if we're able to share with others the struggles that we face and to bring people with you in the fight. And that's when I really felt that I was able to overcome this. That was when I invited my family, my friends in to help me along the road. So I didn't feel like I was alone anymore. That gave me so much strength. So I think that's my top advice to anyone. Just share with those around you what's on your mind and your struggles, and they will be with you in the fight. You don't have to travel the journey towards healing by yourself.
How does forgiveness play a role in that, Monika? You said that was another important thing to you.
It was. That was really important for me, and maybe more important than what I realized at first. But I went through 3 separate trials where I met the men that raped me. 2 of them asked for my forgiveness. And up until that point, I hadn't really been thinking a lot about it. But when they did that, I started to think about it. And I started to think about, okay, what is it that's holding me back now? And I know, looking back, that I was angry. I was angry a lot, and I felt the hate. It didn't really make sense to me what had happened. And so I really had to just, okay, stop, take a break, and think about all of this. What is holding me back? How come I can't live a normal, happy life like I did before? And that was one of the things that I was just holding on to this event, and that I felt angry. But as I started to learn more about them, that was probably the most important thing of the forgiveness process, was to learn more about them, about their past and why they did this. So because of that, I signed up for a program where I was able to meet with my offenders in prison. So I sat down and talked to one of them that was willing to meet with me in prison, and I learned more about his past, about the other 2. What was it that had happened in their past that led to this night, this violent crime? And by that, I think I understood. I got a clear picture, and I understood that what happened that night, that didn't fully show me who they were. And that made it so much easier for me to be able to let go of the hate and the anger that I felt. And with that, it just made sense to me that I should not waste more of my time and energy on that. I should let it go. That belongs to my past. And I just wanted to move on with my life and to be able to spend my energy on the people that I love and care for. So with that, by understanding, I think I was able to find the forgiveness and give that to my offenders. And by seeing what that did to them as well, I think that gave me a lot, especially 2 of them that asked me for it during the trials. They told me that meant everything to them, that they were actually able to believe in themselves after I told them that I would forgive. And that means a lot, because now they are willing to go through all the work to change for the better as well. And that means a lot to me to know that they're doing exactly that.
Wow. Imagine, where did you find the courage and the strength, as we alluded to earlier, to be willing to go face the perpetrators, to go look into their eyes, the men who did this to you? Where did you summon that strength from, to be able to sit across from them and look at them again?
Well, again, I think that was something that was given to me. It just made sense to me that that's something I have to do to be able to let go. So, I don't know, a lot of people told me too, like, are you sure you want to go through with this? People around me told me that, well, we feel like you've come a far way now. Are you sure you want to take a step back and do that? But I don't know. To me, I just knew that I had to do it to be able to fully let go of that night. That became so clear to me in that meeting that was the right thing for me to do. So sometimes I think we just have to listen to our intentions. What is it? What are the messages that we get from the inside? What is it that we feel? And just follow that. Even though it might not have made much sense when I told people around me that I actually wanted to go into prison and meet with my offenders.
It's like an internal feeling of something that needs to be done, something guiding you
Exactly.
from the inside, right?
Exactly. That's what it was.
That is incredible. What a great message that sends to other survivors, to be able to move through that process and to learn to let go. Because you referenced that, and Tam and I are big in the True North journey with a lot of people. We hear that. It's being able to move beyond and let go of that in order to live in the moment that is your life today and not be a hostage of the past.
It is, and that's the focus that I've had the whole way, is that I'm still young. I have this life in front of me that I want to live it. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy every day of my life, and if I continue to live in my past, I won't be able to do that.
Well, and speaking of that life, tell us a little bit about what you've got going on, what in the future, and what are some of the big influences in your life now, and what are some of the hopes and dreams and aspirations you have looking out into the future?
Well, right now I'm just so blessed to be able to travel, to share my story. I travel to do public speaking and to promote my book, and that's my life right now, and I love it. And I just hope that I'll be able to do this for the rest of my life. I really do hope that I'll be able to help as many people as possible by sharing my story.
That is wonderful. Do you have a website or upcoming appearances or other ways that we can share your story and where they can find the book?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is Monika with a K, and Kora, KORRA.org. That's my website, and that will have all the information on my book, on my speaking, and more of the background of my story. And also on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Monika Korra.
Thank you, Monika, so much for sharing with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
And we are really appreciative that you allocated some of your time to spend with us today, because it's definitely a story that needs to be heard. You're a wonderful young person. You've got a beautiful life in front of you, and so thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you for listening to True North Story, the series. Follow us on Twitter @True North Story.